Okay, we're live. Fantastic. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to tonight's webinar, Market Truths and Opportunities in the Greater Phoenix Metro Area. It is September 10th, 2025. I am Natasha Tomlinson with eXp, your realtor here in Arizona, your neighbor and truth teller in a market that, well, let's just say is keeping us on our toes. Let's give it a minute here for folks to join us. Set up across a few different platforms here, LinkedIn, Facebook. And so bear with me as I am flying solo tonight and just want to make sure that I have everything squared away. Just a little bit of housekeeping. We'll have a question and answer session at the end. So feel free to hold your questions till there so I can get to everyone. And outside of that, I thank you for being here. Perfect. Great. A little bit of water. In the meantime, let me know where everyone is coming from. Okay, what are we who am I talking to here tonight? Let me know. Are you here in Arizona? Are you in, Illinois, Washington State, right? New York, New Jersey, Canada? Where are you? And then before we begin, the events that took place today, and I just, not to get political in any way, shape, or form, but I did want to say a quick note about our hearts being heavy about the senseless loss of life and ongoing violence that we continue to see. And that these events, they leave scars on our families, our communities, on all of us. And I pray are you kidding me right now? Go. Need to make some changes here. Anyway, as I was saying, anyway, just really wanted to pray for healing and peace and strength for us all to come together with compassion and love in the future. So may we find a way forward where safety, kindness, and humanity prevail. And that's what I have to say about that. Let's get back to tonight's webinar. Okay. Wonderful. As I said to everyone, if you're just joining, good evening and welcome to tonight's webinar, Market Truths and Opportunities in the Greater Phoenix Metro Area. It is September 10th, 2025. I am Natasha Tomlinson, your Arizona realtor, neighbor, and truth teller in a market that is, again, keeping us on our toes. So again, drop your name in the chat. I see a few of you have here. We're in Texas, Tennessee, North Carolina, New Jersey, California, Chicago. Nice. Any Arizona out there? All right, we're Casa Grande, Coolidge, Anthem. Okay. Great Buckeye, Glendale, and Phoenix. Awesome. Well, thanks for playing along there. There's room for all of you here tonight. Okay. Now, tonight's topic is one that gets a lot of strong opinions. And we're talking about new construction. The shiny, the fresh paint smell, the shiny looking everything, right? The ones no one's ever lived in before dream that we have after watching all of these reality TV shows. But we're going to talk about it from two angles here tonight. We'll talk about it from the primary residence angle for your forever home or your home for the next, 5 to 7 years, right? That stepping stone. And then we'll talk about new construction as a long-term rental investment, the buy it now and cash flow later play. And tonight, I promise I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. That's not why we're here. We're going to hear the good, the bad, and the hidden ugly that many don't want to tell you about until you've signed on the dotted line, right? So, fair warning, right? By the end of tonight, you may feel a little more cautious, but cautiously confident. Let's put it like that. All right. That's where I want you to be. I want you to enter into these agreements, new homes, enter into today's market with your eyes wide open. That is the goal for this evening. All right. So, again, everyone, Natasha Tomlinson, I'm thrilled to have you here, regardless of whether you already own a home or you're considering investing in Arizona real estate, or you're just like, what is going on out there? I'm curious and I had time to kill. I welcome you here tonight. All right. Tonight's conversation is going to be direct, data driven, and hopefully a little entertaining. Maybe we'll get a few laps in. We're in a market that is shifting under our feet, right? We can feel the ground moving under our feet. And while that can be intimidating for some, it's also full of opportunity for people who know how to navigate it. And that's why you're here. So let's start a little bit with our buyers out there. And if you're a seller, hey, tune in. There's some nuggets in there for you too, okay? Because knowing your buyer's mindset, it really is a golden opportunity. Since April of 2025, our active supply, a number of listings available for sale, has dropped about 14%. And you're like, why? Why, Natasha? Well, we had a big wave of cancellations. Canceled and expired listings from May through July. So a canceled or expired listing is when a property owner, they list their property for sale for a certain period of time, and that listing did not sell during that period of time. So instead of continuing to sell, the homeowner, the seller, decides to take it off the market, either for a short period of time or permanently. And that results in a canceled or expired listing. And so we had record numbers of canceled and expired listings from May through July of this year. And we're not seeing a large number of listings come back on the market to replace that number. All right. The cancellations were up to the tune of 64% when compared to that same time period last year, and for expireds, 69%. So here's the silver lining for buyers, right? Because there's, where there's quote unquote chaos, right, where some may view it, there's opportunity as well, right? Mortgage rates have eased during that time. We were looking at, in January, the interest rates had a strong 7 in front of it, okay? And most people weren't excited about that. And now mortgage rates have eased to the, low 6s, depending on your credit score and your other financials. Accepted contracts are also up since July 4th of this year. So the momentum that we're seeing is in your favor. And yes, the sales prices, they are flat. Appreciation is pretty much flat. It's in line with inflation. Here in Arizona, that's what we're seeing. And so sellers are quietly lowering their asking price, mostly in condos and townhomes. We're seeing a lot of that, which were also down. Those prices for condos and townhomes are down 6% when compared to last year. But here's the kicker, all right? What we are seeing instead of these huge price reductions is we're seeing sellers give concessions to the buyer for their closing costs, to buy down their interest rate, to pay for HOAs, that sort of thing. 56% of sellers in July helped buyers with closing costs or buy down their interest rate. And that number is up in August to about 58%. Now, if you're waiting to get in with zero bidding wars and sellers willing to sweeten the pot, listen, people, this is your moment. All right. And this is a big but. All right. According to many experts out there, people much smarter than me, we are expecting the amount of concessions being offered to go down. And why is that? Well, if interest rates come down, which they are expected to do, that will make more buyers enter the market, more activity, and the sellers won't be as willing to give concessions, reduce price, is willing to negotiate. Low supply plus steady demand is a buyer's market clock that is ticking. All right. So if you want the best mix of low rates, lower prices, and seller incentives, you don't have years, you have moments. Okay. Now, all right, sellers, I hear you. It's been a marathon. Okay. The median marketing time is about 48 days before an accepted contract. Some happen in less time. A lot are happening way more than that. All right. And condos, you're looking at about 70 days. And under 250,000 for manufactured homes and condos and the like, you're looking more like 80 days. And I get it. It's longer than you anticipated because you heard of the days of homes flying off the market left and right. And you're wondering what happened to yours. And it feels a little exhausting, especially if you're living in the home. So now, even though many areas are in a buyer's market, we are seeing some areas start to rebound and to balance in a slight seller's market. And we are seeing prices remaining steady as well, right? So here's your decision. Your decision is, do you sell now and deal with the concessions and just rip off this Band-Aid, get the property sold and have it done? Or do you wait and maybe get a lower price without having to pay for closing costs, right? Because you've been on the market longer and, after a while, people see your house in the market for a while. They start wondering if you're starting to look a little funny, you start to smell a little funny, like what's going on there? You're looking a little stale, need a bit of a refresh. So here's the curveball. A lot of big banks and economists are predicting that we have a 35 to 45% chance of a recession in the near future. We're hearing that the Fed lowers rates, and we'll know about that in about the next week, right? Their next meeting is next week. We'll have a better idea of where the chips fall in that time, right? Money could flow into bonds if rates go lower. Mortgage rates could drop, right? And buyers could start flooding back into the market. I looked at my crystal ball this morning, and you know what it said? It laughed at me. It said, your guess is as good as mine. Okay. So we'll have to wait and see. If that happens in Q4, finally get some relief. And it's strange to say, but in real estate terms, a mild recession could help move the market faster. I'm not wishing it on anybody, but I'm just saying, that history tells us that mild recessions tend to spur real estate market activity. All right. So the point is, buyers, you have leverage today. It will not last forever. Use the seller concessions while they are available and while they're being handed out like candy. Halloween is around the corner, but Halloween doesn't last forever. Okay. Sellers, price strategically. You have days on market are longer. Overpriced homes are very visible online. Okay. They can see your market strategy. They can see every price reduction. They can see how long the home has been on the market. Do you try to rent it? Did you try and take it off the market and put it back on? All these things are now visible online. If you must sell, get aggressive. Get aggressive now before, you have more competition and more properties come on the market. Investors, keep an eye on the under 400,000 market. Watch condos as well as single family residences. The discounts are deepest there in that under 400 range. And with rental demand still healthy in many parts of the valley, consider that buy and hold play. I know many of you love that fix and flip, but this market isn't being kind to fix it and flippers. So be cautious. So if you're thinking about new construction, however, I did promise you that's what we're talking about today. If you're thinking about new construction, this market is practically begging you to at least look at what builders are dangling in front of buyers right now. Right? Now from my face, let's change. Let's change the no, here we go. I'm going to share the screen here. Nice. Okay, I'll do my best to change this out for the rest of the webinar. Okay, and these numbers are for single family detached homes, not condos, manufactured homes, townhomes are not including in those numbers. Okay. Excuse me. So let's start with the dreamy side of things, right? Because, walking into a brand new model home, it can feel like HGTV in real life. I mean, I walk in there and I'm like, man, maybe I want one of these things. Okay. The pros is that everything is new. Everything is new. No one else's wear and tear, no one else's funk. We've been in those homes, right? The latest building codes, the latest energy efficiencies, lower maintenance costs for the first 5 to 10 years. Personalization, you choose your finishes, right? Your layout tweaks, the elevations in the front of the home, the colors, backsplashes, countertops. If you're decisive, a new home, it is joyful, all right? But if you are indecisive, it can be overwhelming and ultimately it can be expensive. You have builder incentives just right out laying in front of you, ready for the taking. Closing cost credits, rate buy downs, free upgrades, landscaping, appliances. In today's greater Phoenix metro market, some builders they're tossing in HOA dues for a year. Just kind of depends on the builder and depends on the part of town and whatever other inventory they have there. Warranty coverages. Most builders offer a warranty on workmanship and a warranty for structural as well. So, quick poll. If you were buying a new home today, if you were purchasing new construction, what is that one upgrade you would splurge on? Drop it in the chat. I want to know. Okay, would it be barn doors, or would it be something in the kitchen? Or are you someone who just needs a tub? You got to soak those bones at the end of the day. You need that tub shower, separate tub and shower. Or you fine with the walk-in shower that many new home construction homes are providing today? Drop it in the chat. I'm curious where my viewers are at. Let me know. Okay. Let's see here. Let's switch it around a bit. Okay, fantastic. Again, flying solo, so bear with me. Okay. Now, with everything, there's pros. We have to look at the cons as well, right? Let's look at the fine prints that the glossy brochures don't always mention. All right. You have location trade offs. New builds are often in the outskirts of town, right? They're usually 20 to 40 minutes further out than your major metro centers. And that can mean longer commute times. It can mean fewer mature trees and fewer amenities, right? The amenities are still coming soon. Another one would be the base price. Looks great, right? It got you in the door. The community looks great. Oh, new home construction from from the 300s. Wow, at the low 300s, mid or high 300s, right? From the 500s, again, low, mid, high. There's a difference, right? For your base price. And the base price looks great. It's a pill that you can swallow until you add in those $80,000 in options. The builders, they make high profit margins on upgrades. And yes, I'll say it, they count on your overspending, right? Appraisal gaps. In a shifting market, your finished home might appraise for less than you paid if prices dip during your build time. And construction delays. You have weather, supply chain issues, labor shortages. These things certainly happen. If you're selling another home, this can create temporary housing headaches. And let me just say, I've held clients' hands through 6 month delays, and it's not only stressful, okay, it can be costly. Also, being in a short term rental, storage, and just costly to your mindset. You picture yourself in the home. Let's get in there already, right? So now let's shift gears a bit. How does new construction perform as a long term rental, as a long term investment in the Phoenix metro area? Let's take a look. Let's see now. I want to make sure that we hit the different cities. What I'm doing here, what we're trying to do, is yeah, we have okay, Fountain Hills. Mhm. Great. The pros for investors for new home construction, it tends to attract a high quality tenant who value newness, right? Lower repair costs early on, better cash flow predictability, competitive edge in markets with older housing stock. All right. There's depreciation and tax benefits as well to the investor. The con is the higher acquisition cost, right? Tends to be a higher purchase price, potentially lower cap rate. Homeowners association restrictions in new communities could be preventative as well. Some limit rentals to 6 to 12-month minimums. And that could be problematic for those of you who love those co-living spaces. If the neighborhood is still being built out, more rental competition from other investors could be an issue as well. Let me tell you a story, okay? Once upon a time, I had an investor client, and they purchased a 4-bedroom new construction in Surprise. Gorgeous place, right? 2-story home, energy efficient, easy to lease at a premium rent. But Three other investors had the same idea at the same phase, and they did the same exact thing. So suddenly you had four nearly identical rentals on the market. I guess you can see the problem. All right. So, investors here tonight, type yes if you've ever lost a tenant to a brand new rental down the street. It happens, right? It happens. Control what you can control. All right. So, what do you do with this information? Okay. If you are a primary residence buyer, take advantage of the incentives that are available, but know your upgrade limit before you walk into that design center. Okay. Know the upgrades that you would like the builder to do and things that can wait and you can take care of at a later date. Right. If you are an investor, run the numbers using realistic rent comps. All right. Not some of these short term rental sites that give you pie in the sky numbers. Really factor in the potential competition, right? In both cases, location still rules. That shiny new kitchen means absolutely nothing if you're 45 minutes from where people want to live, work, and play, right? And please get representation. All right. Builders have friendly sales reps, but they work for the builder at the end of the day. And my job is to work for you. So, the big takeaway tonight is new construction. It can be a fantastic choice if you go in with your eyes wide open, whether it's your dream home or your next rental investment. The key is timing, location, and negotiation. If you would prefer a personalized breakdown of which Phoenix metro communities and builders are offering the best deals right now and which ones you'd be better off steering clear of, book a free consultation with me. No obligation. I'll run the numbers, compare incentives, and give you the honest truth. No sales fluff. Okay. Feel free to take a look at the link once I put it in the chat, right? That would be helpful. And we can go from there. Yes. Again, I thank you for joining me tonight. And remember, the best real estate decisions aren't about chasing the market, but about understanding it. Again, I'm Natasha Tomlinson, and I will see you next week for our next webinar. Ta-ta for now.